Recording in progress, as I said. So we still have several minutes before the meeting, and stay tuned. Hello.
Hi there, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Nice screensaver. Or is it actually background?
It's real. I can reach back and
Oh, nice.
touch.
Yeah. So let's wait for others. Do you have any agenda items for today? Hey, yeah. Okay, so let's wait for one more minute. If nobody joins, we will just proceed. We don't have a quorum from the governing, sorry, from the TOC, I believe, but that shouldn't be a big deal for today. Okay, so let's begin. Don't think it makes sense to wait more. Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks to everyone who joined. So today is February 15th. We have 7 people on the call. I believe we have TOC quorum now. Thanks. Okay, so what topics do we have for agenda? So HackMD sponsorship, software supply chain seek approval, then GCP billing for Tecton, deconflicting TOC meetings, and maybe moving TOC to Bevy as a topic. Anything else you would like to discuss today? So maybe one thing that makes sense to highlight here is the events day at KubeCon Valencia.
And I've seen CDCon early bird talks as well, 6 talks.
Yes, and on that point, the CFP for CDCon ends this Friday, so please get your talks in.
Just move it up then. Yes, speaking of that, is it possible to apply for CDCon without describing the project in questioning in details?
I'm sorry, do you mean a contributor summit or do you mean an actual talk proposal?
Talk proposal. Well, I will follow up separately because I do have one idea, but I'm not sure whether it makes sense to talk about that right now.
Okay, yeah, follow up with me, that's fine. I mean, the CF, would you like me to put a link on these notes to the CFP page?
Yep.
Okay, I'll go pick it up.
Just a heads up for everyone. I propose to do a kind of panel session with the TOC there. So if someone is interested, I will just submit the application. So basically, whomever joins, just have an open Q&A here. Somebody could moderate this session, and that's it. Would it make sense from your point of view? Let's ask differently. Would anyone be interested to participate should this session happen in the panel?
I would, Oleg.
And my term runs out beginning of April, so I would be interested, but no.
Well, I'm also not sure whether I will be able to go to the United States.
At this time, we do ask all speakers to be present at the conference, and I do realize that is given the ongoing pandemic and that not everyone is that close to Texas, is quite a big ask.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you cannot travel at all, right?
I'm sorry, was that a question for me?
But
To me,
yes.
like, I don't know if I will be a talk member by that time, so that's why I can't.
Oh, I guess isn't it for everyone? Because
No, end user time, like term, and runs out April. It's
right.
not same time.
Okay, then yeah. Well, I think whatever.
Yeah, I'd be happy to participate, Oleg.
Mm-hmm. So you definitely have enough potentially interested people to at least add the suggestion for the agenda. And then, yeah, let's see whether it would be interesting to the program committee. Okay, so yeah, another thing for CD events. So basically, as Kara announced yesterday, the CD events SIG, there would be a CD events day at KubeCon. So Kara, would you like to describe it?
Yes, the day is still shaping up, but essentially we are likely to have a room for 100 individuals in person. We will also have set up for remote attendees. And it's really a question of how the SIG events and the CD events community want to shape the day. So Andrea's come up with some really nice ideas of what could be done. Keynote and then some other talks. We could do a community hackathon. We could have a contributor summit. There's a couple different ways how to shape the day, but it should be an excellent day. So I'm really quite excited for it. But if you have any other questions, yep, CD events and captain events alignment. That's the kind of thing we would love, actually, because then, you know, we build out the community, work with other groups. I think that's actually a really, really nice focus. That would be more of like a working session, but I think that's really good.
Yeah, so I followed up because there is proposal from Andrea about working on specifications, whatever, contributor summit. So this topic would potentially fall into the agenda.
Perfect.
I just put it here.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Thanks, Oleg. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we still plan a Captain Community Day. So there will be some contributors there, should everything happen. But again, it's coronavirus, it's Valencia, it's Spain, so nobody knows. Okay. So basically, CFP for this day is also open in this GitHub issue, right?
Essentially, this is as far as the organization has gotten at this point. In terms of opening a CFP, part of that will be down to how much of the day we're going to allocate to talks. So that's all just still being shaped, but definitely comment on the issue. You know, if you want to speak and how you think the day should be run, and we'll begin to shape that more.
Okay, thank you. Anything else regarding events? Okay, then moving on. HackMD.
Yeah, we discussed this 2 weeks ago, and based on that discussion, I sent an email to HackMD team and provide information, the information they asked. And then we got a positive response from them, and they require 2 things. One of them is placing CDF logo on their website, and the other one is providing a quote. I think quote is fine, and Oleg, sorry to send it to your way, but the logo question, Kara, I don't know if you had chance to check if it is okay to let HackMD put CDF logo on their website.
I actually emailed Chris about this, but I haven't heard back. So I'm meeting with him tomorrow, and I'll follow up then.
So for me, it's actually 2 questions. Firstly, putting CDF logo on the HackMD side, and secondly, putting HackMD logo on the CDF side, which is probably more challenging because there are multiple support members, member organizations.
I think we are putting HackMD logo on our documents we store in our repositories, like it said HackMD docs or something. I've seen it on events documents. They are on SIG documents as well. So it's kind of not on CDF website, but at least they are like their logo is displayed on our documents.
So what do they require? Do they require that level of display where their logo is on our documents or on the website?
No, they ask to display CDF logo on their website.
Okay. Okay. So it's one ask.
Yeah, we don't have to put their logos on our site, but it would be nice to
okay.
give credit.
Yes.
So yeah, once Kara, you get some info from Chris, we can respond to their mail saying that yes or no, and then we'll see what happens.
Yes, I'll respond to you, Fatih.
Yep.
For the quote from the CDF, so basically you want me to write it, right?
Like as like talk chair, like you can be our collective. That was my thinking, collective voice kind of. multiple
Well, I
SIGs
can
are using. So,
write something, but then I will send it for review to the TOC mailing list.
yeah.
If nobody is against. But yeah, I'm perfectly fine if you write this quote or if somebody else wants to take this action item, because you were driving this effort, and it would be totally reasonable to have your quote there.
Yeah, I can write the quote, and then we see, like, we send it to TOC mail list, and then we see if we agree on the quote, and then we send it to HackMD once we have everything ready.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you want to write it, I think it would be better.
Okay.
So anything else for that?
That's all, I think. Yeah, sorry, one thing I forgot. Sorry, Oleg. Yeah, they will provide 20 accounts. Yes, that's what they state as well. I think 20 accounts is more than what we need. So, like, and they kind of said like 20 should be sufficient, but we can go back and ask more if we need more people to be somehow more powerful on HackMD. But regardless of your account on HackMD, you should be able to edit documents anonymously. So that's fine too. Yeah. That's all.
Do you think some of those accounts could be shared with projects as well?
I think it would be easy if projects request their own accounts, because 20 isn't a big number still. So if you just take Jenkins 6, we would easily consume 20 accounts just for TOC and SIG and for the community leaders. So.
Okay.
But we can tag along on this thread we have with them once we sort out the CDF one, and perhaps Andrea, you can take it from Tecton perspective, for example, and but yeah, these are the questions they ask, and these are the responses I provide to them.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So basically, I will note that it's open question whether we share it with the projects. Sure that all projects could actually easily request it as sponsorship if they don't require a legal entity, because I believe none of our projects have a legal entity behind. Well, maybe Artelius has, but definitely not Jenkins, not Tecton, from what I remember. Story.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on then. Thanks a lot again for driving this effort.
No problem.
So software supply chain SIG proposal. I believe you've got enough binary votes, so 5 votes. It's enough to proceed. I suggest that unless there is any negative feedback on this call, we just proceed with approving it. So the question is for Terry and, well, basically for everyone on the call who haven't voted, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in favor.
It's good. Yeah.
Then I think that we can just proceed.
Thanks everyone for voting, and thanks Melissa for being our talk sponsor for the SIG. So thank you.
Of course.
Okay. So thanks everyone. Yeah, I'll send the summary later, but yeah, we will need someone to do all the logistics for the SIG, including putting on the website and whatever other things. So who would take care of these items? I guess we would need help from Cara or from Michelle.
I can reach out to Kara and Michelle because we have this checklist for the latest SIG we create for Chinese localization, if I am not mistaken. So I can follow that and try to, make as little noise as possible to Kara and others.
That's great. Happy to help.
Thanks, Kara.
Yeah, thanks, also. Okay, so next one, GCP billing for Tecton. Ankit, is it your topic?
That's
Yeah,
me.
that's me. That's Andrea.
Yeah, that's not me. Sorry. It was.
Sorry, who was it? Andrea?
It's Andrea. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, we run today Tecton infrastructure that builds, tests, and so forth on GCP. But the projects that we use were created originally by Google when the project was a Google project before it was donated to the CDF, which has some limitation because then people who are not employers of Google cannot have like full admin control on these projects. Because of that, we want to kind of re-provision them or transition them across. It's not 100% clear yet what the process will be. But basically, we need to have billing accounts which are kind of controlled by the CDF, so that we can then create a new project under those billing accounts. And my query here is, who can help with this kind of tasks? Is it something that we can handle at TOC level? Do we need to ask the governing board? Or
So
anyone who knows?
We definitely need CDF officials to do that because we want to have this account connected to the CDF legal entity or maybe to the Linux Foundation legal entity. But to do that, we will definitely need help from the Linux Foundation to get through that. So we have the same topic open for Jenkins AWS because we also need a CDF owned account for AWS. So if we could actually just get for all public clouds, it would be really awesome. But I'm not sure whether it would be possible and who could help us right now. Kara, do we have any bandwidth?
I can raise the issue with Chris. He's probably the person who will have to approve it at this point.
Maybe,
okay.
Maybe for you, Andrea, it would be nice to have a ticket for that, so that we just
Sure.
have it somewhere.
Yeah, I can create a ticket. So I asked Chris via email about these, and well, he answered. He was that he didn't really know about billing accounts, and that the new general manager would be able to tackle with this. But yeah, I was hoping we would not have that kind of dependency. You have to wait for new general manager to be hired.
Yeah.
So for
Okay.
Jenkins, it would be a third general manager responsible for this topic. But yeah, for us, it would be also important because eventually we will have issues. Because when we were discussing it with Tracy, we agreed that we would be doing that. Basically, CloudBees did their part to enable this transition. But right now, the situation that CloudBees waits for the CDF to deliver on their part. And until it's done, it's a single vendor taking all the risks for the project, including it going over the budget, etc. And we appreciate support by CloudBees for the project. It's not fully appropriate and not fully sustainable in longer term.
And since there's also a Jenkins X need coming up in this area as well, I think maybe we need to have a bit more of a broader plan for how to handle all of these scenarios going forward.
Yeah, so basically what we need is having CDF accounts for all major public clouds, have a policy how actually billing happens, so that how budgets are distributed between projects, how they are monitored, because otherwise it can be easy that one of the projects soaks all the budget and we won't be able to attract sponsorships for particular projects. So even with a single billing account, we need sub-billing. Yeah, to do that, it really needs somebody to do a lot of paperwork, foundation internally, and also with all these public entities.
All right, but the CDF does have a budget today, right? So it was, is the governing board that manages it?
Yeah, this is governing board. So the budget for the next year was approved at the meeting in December. So basically, we agreed that we proceed with 2021 budget for all projects for infrastructure, unless there are many new projects joining or existing projects requesting reconsideration of the budgets. Because our current situation that we use quite a lot on Jenkins, Spinnaker, Tecton. We spend little to nothing on Jenkins X and other incubating projects. So if there is interest to rebalance budgets somehow, this is something that may happen. Or let's say we have a major project, let's say Woodpecker joining the foundation and requesting budgeting for the infrastructure, then it will be also a case. But until it happens, the budget remains the same as for the previous year. I actually have per project numbers. I can share them with the TOC at the next meeting. I just need to confirm that I can do that. So if it's interesting for TOC, I can ask.
I think it would be good to encourage all of the project teams to start planning and modeling for their sort of longer term infrastructure needs, so that we can have a better idea of where we expect things to go based on you know, the growth and popularity in particular project streams. That would help everybody to plan resource and fundraise.
Yeah, so I can speak only for Jenkins in this regards. For Jenkins, significant number of engineering resources, again, mostly by CloudBees, plus by other contributors, was invested to actually reduce the cost to hit the budget. And since Jenkins is growing with usage, with adoption, with CI capacity, so it's still an ongoing effort to at least remain within the boundaries. Yeah, there is still a lot of optimization opportunities, but well, to some extent, engineering time costs more than infrastructure time. Infrastructure right now. But so
I think also if we want to put forward proposals for potential infrastructure changes, is there a template or similar that could be produced to sort of aid people with that?
right now. So basically, you see it from the project standpoint. So if you represent the project, you need to request the budget, how you approach it, right?
Yeah, sorry, my point was if we're having to raise sort of proposals for infrastructural needs or things like that, it might be good to have a template to follow for those potential infrastructural needs, so that you guys have it all in line. You know, there's an expectation of the information that's going to be provided from us.
Yes, so we think about that normally TOC doesn't manage the infrastructure and the infrastructure budget. So it's the CDF and governing board responsible for these topics, at least from what I remember from the charters. So currently the way that you go to CD foundation issues and create an issue and then wait. How long? It depends on the capacity. As you know, it's not ideal at the moment. Plus, there are also priorities, etc. So some topics have been lingering since the beginning of the CDF, like Jenkins accounts transfer. For that, we really need some capacity from the foundation side to address that. And if you need specific templates, specific SLAs, I suggest that you talk to Kara and maybe to Michelle, so to see what is possible to do at this stage.
Okay, so if I raise an issue there, suggesting the template or asking for potential templates, it'll eventually get addressed.
Yeah, well, so for template, you can just submit a pull request here with proposal. Because yeah, it's .github/issue templates, and you put a template there. If you have any idea what to put there, having some template is better than having no template. So whatever would be a good start.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, ultimately, so it's template and then handling of this request, because right now it's fully manual way. Yeah. So yeah.
Right. So the actionable outcome of this is to go and create issues in GitHub.
It would be nice, so that at least we have tracking for that somewhere.
And would it help to bring the topic to one of the GB meetings, or?
You mean the governing board meetings?
Yeah.
Well, I can bring it up, but again, even the governing board doesn't really decide anything in this regards. So here, ultimately, we need to have the Linux Foundation and the CDF to make a decision and dedicate working time to get these topics done. Because all these account accesses is a massive legal work, also a lot of logistics to handle. So neither governing board nor TOC are full-time employees, and it really needs a full-time technical program manager or whatever to get this topic driven through all these hoops. So what we can do is just keep escalating it to Chris, to Kara, and to whomever is ready to listen, and then maybe eventually to move. But I think this is the only way right now.
Okay.
Sorry if I'm not 100% positive about that, but yeah, for me it's the real state right now. So the foundation basically has half of capacity of the original in terms of resources. Even before that, we were unable to get these topics handled. So I don't have much expectations of them being handled right now.
It's fine. I mean, I'm just trying to understand what's the best way forward. So it's fine.
I think, yeah, to sort of reiterate and agree with what Oleg is saying, I think there's no one is going to help us but us. So we should do whatever we can from our side to get stuff moving. And when we hit a roadblock, escalate and repeat until done. But whatever we can do, whenever it's in our court, whenever the ball is in our court, we can return it and then wait for somebody else to return it to us.
Well, it's also keeping grading the issues, because yeah, well, foundations separate thanks to sponsorships, thanks to projects, thanks to membership fees. So if you're a premium or general member of the CDF, you can bring it up this topic. All of you have representatives. So if you're invested in that, you can ask your representative to bring up this topic. I'm not sure, for example, who, well, IBM, Google, CloudBees, they represented in the governing board. So they, as premium members, so they can bring up topics directly. I'm happy to bring it up on behalf of the TOC if needed. But generally, just speaking up is the only way to at least get it moving.
Yeah, agree.
And there is a broader piece here as well, which is that this is actually critical data that we should be tracking and understanding, because at the end of the day, we're all designing and building continuous delivery tools. And if those tools are not cost effective to run, then we really need to know that, because it's a big problem for everyone using the tools. So any information that we can feed back into the project teams to get them good data about the, you know, the minute by minute costs and optimizations that can be made is data that improves the projects themselves.
I agree with Terry, but ultimately, when we talk about the real applications for projects, we are talking about basically ownership costs. So it's infrastructure cost plus people cost plus license fees, etc. So you can just take, let's say, public cloud costs and say that it's all you pay. And if you talk about open source communities, all of us know that contributor time is precious. All of projects struggle to find contributors. So while in common organization, let's say it would be relatively easy to have several people to maintain Jenkins, also it would be much more difficult in open source community, even that it means optimizing the infrastructure, etc. So this is what we passed through in Jenkins infra team, and I believe other projects would have the same experiences. So
yeah, I agree absolutely, but it would also be good to make sure that the individual teams are getting access to this data and can help to use that.
Yeah, so I'll take an action item for myself for the next TOC meeting. So I have this data. I will ask Kara and other stakeholders synchronously if I can share that. This would be a good discussion point. Okay, anything else about public clouds, budgeting, etc.?
From me?
Okay, then quick topic, the conflicting CDF and CNCF TOC meetings. So currently we're in a funny situation when both meetings happen at the same time. So, for example, I was thinking about joining CNCF TOC as a contributor. So basically the same role we have in the CDF TOC for non-binding votes, basically just participating in the meetings and contributing where possible, doing some channeling. But while meetings happen at the same time, it's just not possible. So my question is whether we would like to move our meeting to another slot so that we could potentially accommodate for CDF TOC. One of quick solutions is just to have it on another week, because CNCF meetings are also happening every 2 weeks, or maybe just adjusting the time slot a bit.
I would also like that. I have a conflicting meeting at this time every week, which I've also been trying to get out of and move. That's why I haven't been to these for a while. So if we could move this, switching this to every other week on the alternating weeks doesn't solve that for me. But if that absolutely works for everyone else, by all means. If we could move this an hour earlier in the day, that would also be great for me personally. But I get that everyone else has their own calendar Tetris to play.
Yeah, like that would be like sort of a problem for us because like Jenkins X has like office hours now, like a 1 hour before this meeting. So yeah, then we would have to move our meeting. So
Yeah. Maybe we should we just open a doodle to see what times work best for everyone. If nothing else, just switching this to every other week, alternating with the CNCF TSU would be fine, and I can just figure it out for myself.
Would anyone like to take this item?
Yeah, I can do it as I'm the one who recommended moving the time.
Oh, thanks for doing that. We just have something like 10-ish doodle polls open at the moment, and I'm definitely beyond the limit when I can handle them efficiently.
When you start taking into account one doodle poll results for another doodle poll's answer, that's how you know you've fallen into madness.
I'm there. Okay, so yeah, thanks a lot for that. Okay, maybe anything else on time slots? So basically doodle, then we vote, and then we talk at the next meeting. So for the next meeting, I suggest we keep the same time. And yeah, then we discuss how we do it. Okay, next one, moving to TOC meetings to Beve. Are we ready at the moment, or should we wait with Zoom for now?
What is the reason behind the change?
Well, basically CDF consolidates all the meetings on Beve, so it would be Community CD Foundation, so similar like CNCF did already, and eventually Zoom accounts will be deprecated and removed. I'm not sure what is the grace period. Originally, I've got something like half a year, but maybe Kara knows the deadline for migration.
There's no hard limit for ending the Zoom meeting, so I don't think we need to do it now. Roxanne is handling the migration to Bevy, and that is still a work in progress. So I don't think you need to worry about it at this moment.
So we had this, like requirement to have some kind of Zoom account for like Jenkins X. So I think we wanted to move to like Bevy, right? So is there like a date that like we know that we can move to?
I would reach out to Roxanne.
Okay. Yeah. Because we now use this, like personal account, and it dies after 40 minutes, and then people join again. It's kind of fun, kind of silly actually.
Yeah, kind of a similar question, because we do have an account for Tecton from the CD Foundation, a Zoom account, and we are migrating some of the working groups over to it, but I was now wondering whether we should continue migrating in Zoom, or if the plan is to do something else. And yeah, maybe we could go directly to Baby. But okay, I can ask Roxanne as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think that for TOC meetings, it's right. So we are not moving right now, and then when everything is rolled out, we can do that. It's not like that meeting attracts a lot of attention from outside the TOC at the moment. Well, the same for CNCF and for other projects. So yeah. Okay, then the next topic, interoperability SIG.
Yeah, it's just a shout out for the interop SIG. We are starting a catalog of quality gates. Justin Abrams raised the idea at our last meeting. It was very well received. There's a GitHub discussion that's been opened. please do jump in the GitHub discussion on that. It's in the doc for this meeting, and add your own experiences. I'm not sure how much has been put on here yet, not that much, but do say what your teams, what you're seeing in the wild. This is the sort of information we want to collect as we create this catalog of quality gates. And I do realize, like as you've said before, that that's not the preferred term from Captain anymore. So we might, I mean, you can jump on and add that as well, and your opinion on the terminology. But the idea is that once we have this catalog developed, then we'll be able to get a better sense of what best practices would be. So this is a first step towards that.
Yeah, so regarding Captain, just to share some, so we are currently reviewing all the terminology. Well, Cara knows Mac Roberts, so she recently joined to help with Captain documentation efforts. And once we have terminology on our side, we will be definitely aligning with interoperability SIG and with, I guess, CD events terminology, because we also have overlap there. So
that's great.
Yeah, so it's on the table, but we want to get it done rather sooner than later, because we also have incubation and other things happening for Captain. So hopefully we will have all clarity by CDCon. Cannot promise that, but yeah, we would like to streamline terminology.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, just liaise with the event SIG and the interop SIG. That's really nice. Just more input on terminology and what people are using is really useful. To that point, we're having Anders Enkart from Styro will be joining us this Thursday, and he'll be discussing what they're seeing on their end with the use of quality gates. So it should be good discussion. Please do join us. Meetings are open. They are, I think, 1 hour. No, exactly at this time, same time as this meeting in 2 days' time on Thursday the 17th. So shout out that you're all welcome to join. Also, Fatih, who has been an amazing co-chair, he's fantastic, done so much good work as chair of the interoperability SIG, is unfortunately stepping down from that role. So we are looking for another chair. If you're interested, please do reach out to me or join the SIG and discuss your involvement there. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me and ask anything.
Thank you. Okay, so anything else on this topic? And yeah, thanks a lot for everyone who was driving the interoperability SIG, because it was the most, well, it has been the most active SIG in the foundation. We created a lot of spin-offs like CD events, now yeah, some of them supply chain, CD events specification, etc. So yeah, thanks a lot to Fatih and everyone. Okay, any other topic for today? Then we meet same time in 2 weeks, and then hopefully by that time we will have consensus about what would be the next time slot, and then we will revise the calendar, etc. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.